Welcome to this class. Today we are going to discuss about cross misconduct. So cross misconduct are always the offenses committed by the employees at workplace, and those offenses could amount to what we call cross misconduct. And the end result of always the cross misconduct either be a dismissal, or just a summary dismissal. So there are very many things in which amount to what we refer to as cross misconduct. So in a simple context, I will say that it is always very difficult, maybe, to give a simple explanation about cross misconduct, because to some extent you can still talk about a minor cross misconduct or a major cross misconduct, and therefore I could just say that all unethical or unprofessional ways in which an employee carries herself or himself in the workplace always amount to cross misconduct. We have several examples that can define more of what we refer to as cross misconduct. Now, I've already said that cross misconduct always gives rise to what we call summary dismissal. But before you do summary dismissal, you must also have to carry out investigations concerning the unethical issue arising in the workplace. Some could not warrant maybe someone to be dismissed, only that maybe you can still punish this person. In whichever case, you can have a punishment that can either be a severe or not severe. So if we have summary dismissal, in this case, we can say this person is not going to be paid any amount, or you can serve this person an notice without any kind of payment. So in this case, we can say we have a pylon, that is pay in lieu of notice, and I've said that this person is not going to be given any kind of payment. So that is always the punishment that people who does or go against the values of an organization is being served with. So there are very many things that always amount or constitute cross misconduct. So what constitutes gross misconduct? One is we have theft or fraud at the workplace. So if you are stealing from the workplace and you are found to be culpable of the same, then you're supposed to be summarily dismissed from that organization. We can still talk about bullying at the workplace, or some kind of physical violence taking place in the workplace and you're participating. In this case, you're supposed to be dismissed as an employee. We also have damage to property. And damage to property here, you're doing it intentionally, not in accidental way, because if it is in accidental way and it is not it was accidental, then you need not to be dismissed, or it cannot amount to what you are referring to as cross misconduct. The other thing is serious misuse of organization's name in line with your own activities. So if you are using the name, let's say the name of this institution, maybe to gain your own things, and it is not that you use it in a way that is not desirable, then that also amounts to cross misconduct. We also have deliberately accessing internet or sites which are not acceptable at the workplace. A good example could be pornographic activities, or you are watching movies that are always opposed to the institution. That also in one way is an offensive, or it is a negative activity in the workplace That thing is setting up a competing business. So when you set up a competing business with that of your employer, it also amounts to a gross misconduct, and you're supposed to be separated from that institution. The other thing is misuse of confidential information. Like in each and every organization, there is always need to have what you call confidentiality, or we need not to convey information pertaining to an organization anyhowly. The other thing is serious insubordination. You're supposed to do an activity, and in this case, you're not doing it, and therefore you're delaying the institution or just the company from attaining its own objectives. The other thing is discrimination or harassment at the workplace is still part and parcel of gross misconduct. So each and every employee, either disabled or not disabled, should not be harassed at the workplace, or the race that this person belongs should not be harassed. So if you're doing harassment, it is still what you're referring to as the gross misconduct. That thing is offering or accepting bribes. You find that in our country, we have more of corruptions, and this bribes would just amount to an ethical issue, and you're supposed not to be working in that organization. That thing is a serious breach of health and safety regulations. Remember, each and every employee need to be given a good environment to perform the activities. So if you are going against those regulations, then you need to be served with a notice that that behavior of yours is not acceptable, and therefore you need to go and maybe seek another duty in a different organization. That thing is a serious breach of confidence. You also have damage or negligence to the property of the organization, and lastly is using or abusing drugs in an organization. Like if you are drunk, then maybe you're not supposed to perform an activity, and in this case, if you perform an activity and maybe you bring loss to an organization, you see you have now damaged the image of the institution. So those are some of the things that we can say it amounts or it constitutes to what we refer to as gross misconduct. But remember, it is not final that those are things that always constitute gross misconduct. In that, I can still say that there's always difference between a minor gross misconduct and a major gross misconduct, because the major gross misconduct could amount to what we call negligence, and in this case, negligence always constitutes the major part in which you can now say it is gross misconduct. If it is a minor, in this case, maybe you are performing an activity but you are taking longer time to finish, or in this case, maybe you've gone to the place of work late. That should not amount to a summary dismissal of an employee. That thing that we need to understand about gross misconduct is how to manage an allegation about gross misconduct, because some would just allege that you've done A, B, and C. And in this case, probably maybe you didn't do the same. In this case, can we just maybe summarily dismiss this person? Or what are we supposed to do? So the first thing that you're supposed to do is how to manage an allegation. The first thing that you're supposed to do is the suspension. And in this case,